This video is brought to you by the WD-40 brand.
What the heck, man? Hey!
I need to build this WJ.
I'll tell you what. If you can beat the Comanche in a tug of war, we'll build your WJ.
It's on.
Hey guys, it's Matt with BleepinJeep. Josh is behind the camera. Welcome back to Project Bumble. In the last video, we kind of left you hanging there, but today I want to show you what we accomplished. Check this out. For the top of the WJ cage, we rolled this thing to match the body lines almost perfectly. I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. What we didn't show you was the front fenders here, how we made that look factory. The neighbor, Ben, had a great idea to use the factory fenders and try to fit those in there. The tube drops down to the bumper. We went across underneath the grill to make that look nice. That's gonna get painted in there so it kind of disappears. And then we've got Bumble's teeth right here. If you remember the cartoon, Bumble had his teeth removed.
So these are Razor headlights. These are DOT, side-by-side, Razor headlights. And they're gonna work pretty good. They have turn signals and everything in them.
The interior cage, I don't know if you guys saw that yet, but if not, check it out. It looks really good with the seat belt bar, these X's to strengthen everything, and we've got one front and rear as well.
It's a jungle gym.
But it's a strong jungle gym.
It is a strong jungle gym.
We also got these things all fixed up for the sliders, and then that allows us to come down and meet the tube to these lengthened, beefed up sliders. So up top here, it looks like a spider web. We do need one more tube though, I think coming from the middle there to the middle here. But otherwise, that thing is nice and sturdy up top, and it goes through to the interior cage. We're gonna have to pull this cage off. So we're gonna cut here and on the other side and try to pull this off so we can weld it, because it's so close to the body we can't get a welder up into here. So that's gonna be a little tricky. We haven't figured out how to do that just yet. But the WJ is kind of rare and odd in the way that the hood works. If you see, when this comes up, it kind of blocks where you would typically come across here. So we're gonna have to move that tube up higher. But at the same time, the whole thing is rounded and curved. So we're gonna have to curve out, and the tube is actually gonna go under the hood when the hood opens up. We also need to keep the wipers, so we're gonna have to be over the wipers, under the hood, and clear this section right here. So it's gonna be quite the challenge. We're gonna do this in DOM, so that makes it even harder to do, but that's what we're working on. So 87 inches.
Rolling DOM's a little rough. It hurts a little bit because you have 10 inches on either end. It's kind of waste. And every foot of DOM's about $15. So you cry a little bit every time.
That extra 10 inches, you can't use it for anything. It's too short. So after working at Colt's, I really liked this chop saw he had. I called Josh and said, we gotta get one of these chop saws with a metal blade on it. Check this out, how fast and easy and simple. I don't know why we didn't have one of these earlier.
You said they were too loud.
The ones with, okay, if you get one, you have to get one with the metal blade, and it's specifically got a motor to run that RPM different. The one with the abrasive blades, they suck.
Yes.
Scared the crap out of him. All right, so we're putting the tube in our tubing roller. This is a Harbor Freight combo with Swag Off-Road. One of the complaints I had with this was having to hold this trigger all the time with my hand. So we actually got a foot pedal switch off of Amazon that makes it quite a bit more handy and user-friendly. So we're just gonna clamp this down and get her rolled over to about the right length. We really are not making any templates. We're just kind of bending it. Every once in a while we'll take it out, put it over there, hold it up to the Jeep, see if it fits. And Josh is trying to make a mark on the top of the tube. The reason that we do that is because he's going to hold this tube straight up and down and keep it from twisting, because as you're rolling this, it wants to twist it over. If it does that, you'll end up with a spiraled tube instead of just a single curve in your tube. My job is almost obsolete now that I have this foot pedal. All I have to do is stand here and do nothing other than flip this switch every time. All right, we're gonna keep working on that until that's nice and bent. We'll see you in just a minute. It's everybody's favorite time of day. Guess what time that is? Food time. Hey, you should ring the bell.
Oh my gosh. That's not happening.
What did you bring for us today?
I brought you little kid food.
Chicken nugs?
Chicken nugs and fries.
Oh.
Rolls and some fruit.
We got chicken nugs today. What do you think about that, buddy? Huh? What do you think about chicken nugs? Megs? Yeah? You like nugs? We got fruit tray as well?
I know, right? You guys are special.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That's the good stuff. Just like we're at Chick-fil-A. Okay, guys, check this out. We have this bent, and it's almost, that is almost perfect. It just needs a little more bend to it, and then what we found out was right here at the edge of the hood, it really starts curving more between about here and here. So we're going to try to match that bend with this tube. So what we need to do is put it back in the roller, bend it just slightly more, the whole thing, and then we're going to bend it a lot more just between here and here to try to match the curve of that hood. The reason we have to do that is to be able to attach here, go around the windshield, under the hood, and still clear the windshield wipers. You don't need windshield wipers, do you?
I need windshield wipers from following you around.
Did you reach it? Just barely. Alright, let me explain to you guys what we got going on here. We built this thing with the wipers down. Everything clears, but then we thought, you know what? What happens when the wipers go up and they don't quite clear? So, our thinking is that we're going to take this wiper and cut a pie cut out of it, bend it so that it will clear underneath this tube. But then when we pulled it off, we realized it's cast aluminum, so Not sure if that's gonna work out so hot. Our number 2 option, plan B, if that doesn't work, we're just gonna take this wiper and we're gonna put it straight up and down so when it comes on it just does a rainbow in the middle of the windshield like this. Hey, what if we did this? We could attach, put them both like that. So when it comes on, this one does both sides.
And it'll be double rainbow?
Yeah.
Double rainbow.
Josh tried to bend that piece and ended up breaking it, so now he's over here trying to fix it with the welder. Josh, I don't think that's how it's done.
I have no idea how it's done. I don't know how to TIG weld. But it's working.
Okay. What's that saying? A grinder and paint make me the welder I ain't?
That's it.
All right. We're gonna need a lot of grinding and a lot of painting.
You don't want a close up of that.
You gotta show everybody your skills.
I watched a YouTube video once.
I think you're supposed to let off the pedal before you pull it backwards. How's it look?
Oh, it doesn't look great, but
Think it'll hold?
it might hold.
Now the only problem is you needed 5 more degrees of bend.
No, I might have done 5 degrees too much. I checked it. It's going to be close to being too much. But we can.
So you have to bend it the other way and then break it again?
No, grind the plastic. Yeah, you can shock yourself real bad.
Yeah, don't do that.
I did it.
Okay, there's Josh's handiwork. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that's terrible. It's gonna need some more modification. We're supposed to get that on camera.
I wasn't expecting that to happen.
I thought your welds looked ugly, but they were good and strong.
My weld held. The weld's still held. It's the
Cheap
cast
aluminum cast.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that. It's all porous and stuff. All right, guys. We had a major rainstorm last night. Look at this. Got water here. Got water here. You like my socks? We have water everywhere. In fact, Josh was welding standing in water this morning. Josh, I don't think that's a bright idea.
It's not safe.
So somehow yesterday, we spent an entire day making one tube. How did we manage that?
It takes skill. Professionals.
But it's looking like it might work. Let's put this up there and see. Don't fall. Look at that. We got a little bit of clearance now with your handiwork there. That's a lot of grinding and a lot of paint.
A little bit.
All right, so now that we've got that accomplished, I'm gonna go ahead and continue working on the rest of those tubes. Josh, yesterday, also pulled out the transfer case. So what did you find with this transfer case, Josh? Why did you pull this out?
Got a little slop in the bearings. Don't know why. Don't know what happened.
Come take a look at this. I don't know. That seems like a normal amount of slop to me, but you think that's too much slop?
That's too much slop.
Too much slop? So the first thing we want to do is clean this thing up. So I wanted to show you guys a new product that WD-40 is making. It's called the WD-40 Specialist Degreaser and Cleaner Easy Pods. So these are kind of neat because they are little pods that you put into liquid and they're refillable. So check this out. That's all it is right there. So the reason I thought these would be neat is because they're compact and space saving. Instead of having multiple of these bottles, each one of these packs, this has 5 pods, this has 20 pods, so it saves a lot of space, and you can just refill either a bottle like this or just a regular bottle. So there's going to be less waste with the refillable bottles. They're also customizable strength, so If you want more strength, you can put 2 of these pods into one bottle. If you need less strength, just 1 pod into the bottle. They're also safe on nearly any surface, including plastic. There's no harmful fumes, and you can purchase them on Amazon. So here's what I'm gonna do, is just drop one right in there. We're gonna fill this up with water.
You don't even have to open it?
No, it's like a dissolvable pod, like you would put in your laundry.
Oh, so you can eat them.
No, you cannot. We're gonna give that a little shake. Let's take a look at these and see if they're the same color. Oh yeah, they're just clear. So in this one, it's a little bit bigger bottle. I'm gonna put 2. It says that 1 pod for 32 ounces, so this is 32 ounces here. But if you want double the strength, you can put in 2 pods. So I'm gonna put in some heavy duty degreaser pods into this one. Does it smell like degreaser?
Smells like degreaser.
We're gonna make this so nice and clean for you, Josh, so you don't even have to get your hands dirty when you're working on this thing.
As soon as I open it up, that's all gonna change.
You can just degrease the whole inside of it if you want. We have lots of pods. We've got 20 of them. So this is my double strength degreaser right here. Let's see how good this works here.
That's a lot of WD-40 on that table. You're trying to take off WD-40 with WD-40.
The WW, it's double WD. Okay, moment of truth. Wipers. It works. If you could do the same thing to the other wiper, we could push that down a little bit. I bet your visibility is great. That's gonna be an awesome sound.
Inside there.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see if the hood opens up. Pop the hood. It clears. Clears very well. That dinging's annoying. Yeah, I think unless you bend the other wiper down as well, or weld it down as well, then you can't really go any lower than that. You don't need a passenger wiper, do you?
Not really.
Look who just showed up! It seems like only 2 minutes ago. Oh wait, it was in the video that we had lunch last. What'd you bring us today?
I brought tuna steaks.
That looks like tuna steaks.
Yep, that would be correct.
That looks yummy.
I hope so.
Does anybody like raw tuna? Is it raw?
Ew, yes, and that's gross.
Wait, it is raw?
No, not this. Ew.
Oh. And salad? You like raw tuna?
We might not be able to be friends, Josh.
Or seared.
Mmm. This is a meal fit for kings.
Oh, is that right? Well, I better go find some.
Alright, first I gotta wash my hands. Oh, puppy cam. Oh, he smells tuna. What shall we have to drink today? Lots of choices. We have Dr. Pepper, or Dr. Pepper. Is it good?
Delicious.
Alright, so what we're working on now is these spreaders for the windshield. They are slightly curved in order to clear for the wipers. I wanted to show you though how I mark the angles for these. Also, I wanted to tell you the reason that these are upside down V. So you're trying to protect from a rollover, right? So when you roll over, you're going to be on your lid. You're going to be putting pressure here and that pressure is going to push down and spread into 2 different directions. If it was the opposite way, if you had a V here and you rolled over, those 2 pressure points shoving down would push into one spot and it would be a lot less strong. So this is going to be stronger because it's spreading one load into 2 loads as it comes down. So we need this tube to go right here. I've already cut one side and I wanted to show you how I mark for the second cut. So I'm going to line that up with where I want it. And then the way that I do this, everybody does it a little bit differently, but I'm going to eyeball it here. That's where it's going to line up with both sides. And then we can also measure that if you want. But what I do is I draw a half circle. So I'm going to draw a half circle on this side. So that's the way the notch is going to be facing on that side. Half circle on this side. And then I'm going to draw the angle, so you can see that the angle is this direction. You'll see how that comes in handy here in a minute. And then I'm going to do that on the opposite side as well. I'm going to draw that same angle on the opposite side in case this ends up upside down in the notcher. Okay, so now how do we get the angle? You take your angle finder and you put it up against the tube and up against the other tube. This one's bent, so it's kind of hard to figure out, but something like that. Now we're going to take both of these to the notcher. We're not worried about the numbers. All we want is the angle. So we're going to put this on a flat surface here and try to get these 2 angles to match. I already did it on the other side, so it should be exactly the same. So this tube coming this direction, the notcher coming this direction, and the angle is correct. So now we want to take our tube, we're going to put it in there. You can see I've got a lot of material to cut off. I don't like to cut off that much with the notcher, so I'm going to take this over to the cutter, cut this down so we're only notching into it about a ½ inch at most. Alright, so back into the notcher. Now this is where that line comes in handy on the top here. You can see that it's angled this direction. If I were to get this backwards, you can see that those 2 are not in the correct direction and I need to turn it 180. So I'm going to bring the notcher in to connect to this little line that I made here. I always give it a little bit extra because you can always take off more. You can't add more. And then we're just going to sight this so that it is bent this direction. If you're working with hot rolled tube, it'll have a line on the top. You always want to put that on one side or the other. Now we're just going to tighten this up. Make sure that's straight and notch. This whole saw has some teeth missing. That's not fun. Once I get that cut, you can see that there's some sharp edges right there. That's not good for welding, so we need to grind that down. So for that, I use this 12-inch disc sander. You always want to put it on the left side. Just turn it in a circle. See if we screwed this up or if we got it right. Oh, look at that. This video is brought to you by Dumb and Dumber. Look at the clearance right here. Can you see that? That's like 1 nanometer.
I think it actually touches.
And then right up here, it's like a 1/16 of an inch, but it's gonna work. But it is very, very tight tolerances. It looks really Mad Maxy now.
In the thing, it looks like a Tesla in the front.
It is a Tesla.
Tesla.
It's
Cybertruck.
kind of weird that those are out further than these tubes, but that's your fault because you wanted windshield wipers.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've got one more tube that we're going to do from here to here, just to add to the spider web of tubes here. And then we're going to do tube from here down to here, curved, and 1 3/4 inch, and Josh is working on the headlights up front. Josh, that headlight is wiggly.
It's only half mounted.
So what are you doing over here?
This here bent.
Oh man, that's complex. This looks like one of the BleepinJeep shock tabs right here.
It is.
Look at that. That worked out okay, I guess.
Yeah. 1/4 inch, so you know that headlight won't go anywhere.
That sucker's not moving. Okay, looking good. Back to work. Oh man, that's so cool. All right guys, check it out. We have our cage all tacked together. I think every tube is in there, including these spikes. Man, that thing looks good. Our next step is to get up there. I'm gonna kind of weld as much as I can on the top up there, and then we're gonna try to pull this thing off in one big solid unit so I can weld underneath, because everything is so tight to the body that I cannot get a welder in there. So we're gonna try to lift this up. We haven't figured out how we're gonna do that. It might include the bend pack there, but that thing doesn't go up high enough. So we're gonna have to use our noggins. You got ideas?
I do. Winch in a tree, or a winch in the...
A tree? Oh, where are we gonna find a tree in here?
Humans.
We would need about 8 humans, and they would need to be 10 feet tall.
Cowl, you need your family.
All right, let's get to welding.
All right, guys, it's a new day. It's actually a new week, and I am working on this Dana 300. I'm gonna start tearing it apart while I wait for Matt to get down here, which I'm sure as soon as I get started, he will show up on cue.
What are you doing?
Tearing stuff apart.
I have arrived with Dr. Pepper.
Oh boy.
All right, guys, so on Friday, we were able to get most of the cage welded on the top, but there's still those pieces underneath that need to get welded. So we're gonna have to pull this thing off today. But before we do that, we have a little special surprise, a special little present from KC Lights. Look at this. We've been storing it over here in the Orange Cutie.
Exceeds value of Orange Cutie.
Yeah, that light bar is more expensive than this whole thing.
That light bar is more expensive than that thing originally was.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
I think that's too nice to go onto your Jeep.
You put one on the Comanche.
We're gonna have to curve it for sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay guys, this is Casey's Pro 6 Gravity Series light bar. What I like about this is it has the old school look to it. So if you've got a Jeep that needs that retro look, they're still LED lights, but they're round like the old ones were. You remember the little smiley ones?
The daylighters.
The daylighters. So what's cool about this is it's completely straight, but if you want to curve it, which we do need to curve it because the top of the WJ and even a Cherokee is kind of curved a little bit. So what we're going to do is take out this little bolt. Come check this out. We're going to take out that bolt, and then, oh, I guess we need to loosen that too. Hold on. All right, so if you loosen up that bolt here, we're going to take out this, and we can then crank this over just a little bit. What's nice about this is we've got, how many lights do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lights. You can get this in up to what, 8? I guess you could stack 1,000,000 of them if you wanted to. But you can adjust the curve because we can either curve every single one in between, or we could just curve the outsides out, or we could curve it in the middle, and that will allow you to make the curve that you want. Okay, we've gotten all of those little bolts turned to the next position over, and you can see that it's got quite the curve on it now, even though it seems like it's not a lot. Once you get that done to a lot of these lights, it curves quite a bit. Now, let's take a look at what the lights look like in here. Oh man, so sparkly. Let's try this. Like it was made for a WJ. All right, what do you say, guys? Low like that, or higher like that? It looks like a Baja race truck now. With it high, it definitely does.
As low as it'll go without impeding vision. It'll give it less chance of ripping off.
You won't be able to see the sky.
Make my own sky.
Let's have a look. Not too bad, but it might be hard to clean the windshield like that.
I think it looks best as low as we can get it.
Okay, so we'll mount it. How about right there?
Right there. Sit it right down on the bottom tube.
Could do that.
Right there.
Perfect. We have a winner. It's not in your way at all.
You know, be able to see right through that.
Oh yeah, that's it.
So you guys may question, as I questioned, why did Matt order it with only 7 lights when it could clearly fit 8 or 9 lights? But he's always thinking, and what was your answer to that?
You're gonna rip it off on a rock or a tree.
Yeah, if you're leaning over, if you're actually using this cage and the light sticks out to here, it's gonna rip the outside light off.
Yeah, the eighth light will look great, but it'll be sticking out right here, and then you won't be able to use your rub rail as intended. But it's only a $3,000 light bar, so you just buy a new one if you rip it off.
Rip it off? Yeah.
It's not that much, but it is a really cool light. They use this in racing, and it is really bright, good quality stuff. You can tell by looking at the back of it and all the hardware that this was well made.
It's the same light bar that's on the Comanche, and that's where I fell in love with it. It was the first time I saw a video of the Comanche with that light bar on it. I said, that looks awesome. That just makes it look so bad
All right, so we're gonna figure this out, get it mounted up. We'll show you here in a minute what it looks like. Okay, here's what we came up with. We've got a little triangular doodad like this. We've got a little teardrop doodad like that. It's slotted on the top so we can get it in and out after it's welded in place. The hard part's gonna be holding this up there with just the two of us and tacking it all in at the same time. We're gonna need your help with this. Okay, that was fun, but we've got that tacked in and it's looking pretty good. We just need to make sure that we don't need to aim it down further, because if we do, it's actually hitting the bar there and we would have to re-tack this a little bit different angle.
Mine's angled up more than yours.
So we need to bend this side up.
Yeah, bend that side up.
Okay, we'll do some bending and we'll be right back. This is our surprise. We got wood. Are you surprised? Alright, here's my plan. These things don't go up high enough, so this little piece in the middle right here lifts with the legs. So if we put that 2x4 right across here, when we push the button, it should lift up into the air. We'll just have to put some sort of sling around that 4x4 to lift the cage. And by Josh's measurements, it should only weigh about 250 pounds.
Under 200.
I'm hoping that's correct. Okay, so we need to cut that at about 126.
126.
126. Okay, lift me up.
Tie your hands like that, I'll just blow fire.
These are the straps that I used to hoist the FC up into the rafters. So those will come in handy again. Okay, start her up and drive it back. All right, so we're taking guesses where this thing is going to balance. I'd like to bring the front off at the same time. Of course, there's only like 4 tacks holding this whole front section on. We might want to weld that a little better. But we have to balance that thing so that when it lifts up, it doesn't just fall one way or the other. But I think, by my guess, best guesstimate, it's probably going to be a little further back than that because we've got more weight up front now with the windshield. Maybe right there. Think that'll do it?
Yeah. When I worked in Florida and I was doing construction in West Palm Beach at the water treatment plant, there was a big building that used to be a lime building that had a giant steel funnel that came down through 2 floors, and it was probably 30 feet across.
A poop funnel?
No, a lime funnel. It would go put lime or whatever it is that they use to purify the water down into the water. And it was just a big tank funnel thing, 1/2-inch thick steel. We were turning that building into an office building, and so we had to cut that and lift it up out. And they had a big crane, huge crane holding it. There was a guy named the Steel Cowboy in charge, and he was cutting the whole way around. He left these tabs to kind of hold it in place. Well, he had the crane operator put way too much pressure, and when he cut the last tab, that whole thing jumped up in the air and almost took the crane over. I mean, it popped 2 feet up.
So what you're saying is we should put a lot of upward pressure on this?
Yes. So it just pops right up off.
All right. Okay, Josh, are you ready?
Go for a ride. We have 2 steering wheels.
That looks really crazy. Okay, so next we have to weld a few bars up front here because we didn't do that. We didn't know if we were going to be able to get it off. So we need to weld those up. Then we're going to have to kind of spin this sucker around and upside down and weld all of the bottom pieces because things were so tight. There was like a 1/4 inch gap under here. I could not get a welder under here, but luckily we were able to pull this off in one piece, and hopefully we'll be able to get it back on in one piece.
Yeah, hopefully.
That is, if it doesn't warp too bad.
We can cinch it.
All right, Joshua, are you ready? I've gotten all of the welds I can get to from the top to make them look better on the bottom instead of welding upside down. We're gonna flip this thing over. That way I can kind of use gravity to my advantage. So my thought is, if I can just get you to kind of stabilize it, I've got it connected there. We'll lift it up, it'll spin itself.
All right.
Might be hot. It's working. Okay, so now my thought was, I don't know if it's gonna work out, but I'd like to get it on these so that I could move it up and down. This is what you're gonna look like when you're on your lid.
Hope you never see this.
Alright, there she is. Now I can sit on my little bucket and just weld all day long. Alright guys, we're going to wrap this one up here. We're going to finish up Project Bumble in our next video, completely finished. But thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. That really helps us out with the crazy YouTube algorithm. Also, a huge shout out to our Patreons. We could not do these videos without the support of our Patreons. If you would like to become a Patreon and support the BleepinJeep team, check out patreon.com/BleepinJeep. You get lots of perks and you can find them there, including early access to all these videos, a Patreon-only content feed, coupon codes for BleepinJeep merch, and we also do Patreon-only fan rides, which we have one coming up in October. Lots more perks there, so check that out. I'll leave that link down below in the description as well. We'll see you guys in the next video.